Dear gay man, when you're using dating apps like Grindr or Scruff or other equivalents, please exercise caution and please be aware of your safety. I used to be very critical about dating apps like this because I found that they perpetuated a lot of toxic stereotypes, largely involving gay men. Granted, I do know that a lot of other LGBTQ individuals use these types of apps as well, but I'm speaking strictly in the context of gay men because that's the group that I identify with. And over the years, I slowly kind of came to terms with the fact that these apps are some of the only places, sometimes safe spaces, that we have in order to meet one another, in order to, find intimacy or even develop relationships. My current significant other and I, we actually met on Grindr. And while it's often a funny story to tell, and while I am not always fond of the fact that Grindr is what brought us together, it still did, and a large part of me is grateful for that. But I want to talk today a little bit about why I think people still need to exercise caution on apps like that. Back on Christmas Eve, a young man here in Michigan, a young gay man named Kevin Bacon, went missing, and he was found days later dead in the house of a person that he met on Grindr. And I read the news report that released details about his death and what the police found. And I'm not going to repeat them here because it was utterly brutal and gruesome. And it made me have this realization that sometimes even the safest places we think might be safe aren't always that way. Grindr being one of them. I've been in some pretty dangerous situations myself due to meeting people on there in the past. I'm grateful that none of them resulted like this. Over the years, I slowly realized that I needed to exercise caution. And I'm not saying that this young man did not exercise caution necessarily, because I don't know the entire context behind this, but I do know a lot of gay men who will just meet up with people without getting to know them first, without making any effort to care about their own safety. And I will say, and I will be completely blunt, I really think it's unwise of people to go straight to their Grindr hookup or Grindr dates houses or apartments. Meet them in a public place first. That way you can assess the situation. That at least gives you some means of exercising some type of judgment with regard to your own safety. Does it always work? Probably not. Believe me, it's not always worked for me. But I've had situations where I've dodged some very other dangerous situations or dangerous people by doing the public meeting. Okay? So I'm not saying don't use these apps, because obviously they're very crucial in our interaction with other members of our communities. But when you do engage in those interactions, practice safety, practice caution. And while I know there are many different desires and drives that we may have, or maybe many different aspects of vulnerability we may have, and we want comfort from people, that comfort or those drives are not worth your well-being. They don't outweigh your well-being. Anyway, my heart goes out to Kevin's family and friends, and I hope that something like this never happens again, because it's really rattled people here in my community and throughout Michigan. Anyway, share your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And thank you for listening.